Worldwide Transport. In early summer 2015, DACO Worldwide Transport was entrusted with the transport of a complete power station. The destination was a construction site near the village of La Chorrera, approximately 70 kilometers northeast of Panama City. The bulk of the equipment for the power station had to be collected from various locations in Finland and other European countries. The total amount of the 10,000 freight tons was shipped on several part charters and container vessels. The heart of the plant, 3 heavy engines with unit weights of 295 tons each, and with dimensions of 14.3 by 4.1 by 6.3 meters, originated from the customer's plant in Trieste, Italy. Organizing the transport required a significant amount of preparation in Panama. It was quickly discovered that direct transportation from both the Atlantic or the Pacific ports in Panama to the job site would be absolutely impossible. As a result, DACO Worldwide, in cooperation with its Panama-based partners, DAC Transport, and the Colombian heavy lift company, Transportes Montejo, decided to initiate the transport from Italy to Cristobal, Panama, on a heavy lift carrier with sufficient capacity. The transport from the port of Cristobal to the small fishing port of Puerto Caimito would be made on a barge with a 2,000-ton capacity and a seagoing tugboat. The barge would then travel along the Pacific coast to a specified destination 60 to 70 kilometers northeast of the Panama Canal. From there, the shipment would be loaded onto a 16-axle hydraulic trailer with 2 prime movers. It then would travel on a small secondary class road to the construction site near La Chorrera. After much consideration, it was agreed that this was the best option available. In order to carry out this plan, some new construction projects would first need to be completed. For starters, a new jetty for the ro-ro operation of the barge would need to be built. Next, tremendous improvements on the road from Puerto Caimito to La Chorrera had to be made. This included the 3 bridges which had to be overpassed for the on-carriage. In addition, the shipment would need to pass a very busy highway from Panama City heading north. This highway would have to be closed 3 times to let the special transports pass. The respective permits from the different authorities in Panama would be obtained by DACO Worldwide Transport and DAC Transport, in very close cooperation with the selected heavy-duty trucking company Transportes Montejo. One important problem in particular was obtaining the environmental permit for the construction of the jetty. This permit required the acceptance of the local fishing village of Puerto Caimito. After having finalized the static screening on the 3 bridges with all the necessary calculations, we then found out how to reinforce the bridges in order to guarantee safe transport. These plans were passed on to the Ministry of Transport for evaluation and acceptance, which was finally obtained. Due to the transport height of about 7.2 meters, a big challenge was having to lift and remove countless electricity, telephone, TV, and data cables, which belonged to 4 different private suppliers. Kilometers of new cables had to be installed, tested, and connected in a way that would not interfere with the supplier's services. After having obtained the construction permits, the laying of the foundations for additional supports under the bridges were immediately initiated. This process began before the start of the rainy season, so that the concrete foundations would be in place before excessive humidity and water could interfere. The concrete foundations were finished well ahead of time. The final steel supports were prepared in a way that enabled them to be put in place quickly. This allowed the bridge to support the weight of the transport, approximately 420 tons. The plans had been carried out in such a way to stay below the technical capacity of the bridge. The 3rd bridge was even more critical. Due to delays, the transport had to be carried out in the rainy season in Panama. The bridge had a total length of 54 meters, with 1 support in the middle. 27 meters spanned over a river whose water level continued to rise due to the rain. The other part of the bridge beyond the middle pillar was dry during summertime. There, we built foundations and installed supports at the time of transport. It was decided to use a modern overbridge system with a length of 30 meters along the critical section of the bridge. The respective ramps channeled the overbridge's weight to the ramp side and to the middle sector of the bridge. It was carefully calculated that this operation would be feasible and safe. It was, of course, the first time that such an operation had ever been carried out in Panama. The operation proved that the calculations of our partners were correct. The quality of the jobs carried out for the supports and laying of the overbridge was excellent, and the transport was executed without any damage. There was also no damage to the superstructures of the road, the bridges, cargo, and equipment. The heavy engines were delivered by DACO Worldwide Transport and Transportes Montejo to the power plant and placed on the prepared foundations. Finally, the generators, which had been previously transported directly from Finland to La Chorrera plant via Cristobal, were connected by our partners. The 3 engines and generators, each now weighing 375 tons, were placed on the foundations by a specialist group of DACO Worldwide's partner, Transportes Montejo. The whole operation was finished just before the end of 2015, and the deadline for delivering electricity to the ultimate customer was met. Another job was successfully done. DACO Worldwide Transport.